Good morning, my friends. It's VJ Franz K. I thought I would talk about this VT3, which is one of my favorite machines, but it also has a lot of useless features on here. Let me explain about that. So here is direct, which is the first option, and it just lets my voice go through, even though I can still add reverb and formant to change the quality of the voice. That is an interesting effect in itself. It almost sounds like the pitch is being changed by the formant, but it's not exactly changing the pitch. It's complicated. So then we move on to auto pitch 1, where the pitch is actually being changed in the voice, either higher or lower. One of my favorite things to do is leave the voice partially. The mix is partially up. So some of your regular voice comes through and some of your transformed voice. So it's kind of interesting. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. You can get some interesting effects that way. So let's look at auto pitch 2. It's a different sort of pitch correction. I think this is more like auto tune, like you hear in a lot of hip hop recordings right now. There's auto tune. And then you say a bunch of things like this. Your voice goes through.
Say a bunch of things in a rapid fire way, then you turn your voice down to the other way.
That's it sounds like a lot of these are used by and sort of sound like Daft Punk, you might say, but these effects existed before. They just kind of are the most popular user right now of them. Vocoder tracks your voice and then it plays a synthesizer note. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow, as snow. Interesting effects. Now we come to the effects that I do not like that much. Synth. Just have a listen. Have a listen. Little lamb, little lamb, Mary had a little lamb. I hate to say that. To me, that sounds terrible. I cannot really imagine any use for that effect at all. So why is it taking space on the dial, if you know what I mean? Why did they bother to include it if it's that bad? So, and now let's continue. Well, you can hear it is kind of tracking the vowels A, E, I, O, U, but it really can't track the U sound of the O. It can't track the O and the U very well. So it makes anything that you say through it or saying just sound ridiculous, basically. So here we have lead. Very weird sound. It's kind of like a theremin. That might be the best thing that I've ever heard out of this sound. But you're not going to find much use for that either. And and because the reach is so wide, it's so high, it doesn't really follow your voice. Now the bass, you might think the bass, there's some hope for the bass. I found that if you go E, the other vowel sounds, it goes out of control. It goes out of control. So basically, 3 of these things are completely useless, in my opinion. Megaphone. It's sort of this megaphone style thing. It adds some distortion. It's taking out some of the EQ of your voice. And that could be useful, but I don't really think it's useful because it's very easy to add distortion and EQ on your mixer or your DAW or something like that. So, another kind of waste of space here. Radio is another similar thing. That sound. Breaker 19. We have a convoy coming through. Breaker 19. We're going to launch Apollo in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Just kidding. It's kind of fun, but you could also very easily do that with your EQ. This is a pretty interesting effect. I kind of like this. It's the scatter. So it waits until it hears a syllable or something complete. It waits until you finish saying a word or a short phrase, a chunk of audio, and then it just starts looping that in interesting ways, and that's cool. It either sounds good or bad, and one of the things is you just cannot control this effect with any regularity at all. So it's the luck of the draw, whether it does something interesting or it just sounds like a bunch of crazy stuff. Another thing I noticed is it makes these unusual, interesting noises if you just tap the microphone, because the taps are long enough to be considered sounds, so it just makes these short loops, like single cycle waveforms or something like that. And you can still do the pitch and formant on top of these other effects, so that can be fun. I'm reminding myself that some of this is pretty fun. So I'll go back to basically the things that I use this thing for are just these 3 over here. Vocoder, just vocoder. I like to use them mainly for vocoder. I like to use them mainly for vocoder, 'cause this is a good effect to use with your voice if you want to sound like a robot. And then you have auto pitch. I think auto pitch 1 is a little bit more subtle. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Get some beats. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had Mary had a little lamb.
Anyway, this one is a little bit more electronic sounding thing. I like to leave it at about half.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are. Up above the world you... Anyway, so that is... Where are we going with this? Well, that is a fun review.
So, I hope you have liked this. I hope you have liked this review with VT3.
And I will probably buy the VT4 just because I like the idea of being able to use it on battery power, which this one doesn't. It doesn't operate by battery power, even though you do have a choice of using a power adapter or using USB power, so they were pretty nice, giving you extra options there. But I think that everything should be able to be run by batteries, just because we like to go out and do some music making in the world. So you never know when you're going to need some battery power. So that it's nice. It was very nice of them. It was very nice of them to include that feature. So I guess if you have fun playing with the formant and the pitch as you're using these other effects, that will make it fun for you to use them. You can bend it or other things. I don't know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe if you like
This type of thing. Please subscribe if you like
this type of thing.